franktalks.com.
Relationships, sex, passion with Dr. Laurie Betito. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Welcome to Passion, a show about love, sex, and relationships. Tonight, it is the Boys Club. Once a month, we give men equal time. Who do we have as members of this exclusive club tonight? Ryder, a sports guy and technical producer. Hey. Frank Kermit, franktalks.com, and a regular contributor to Passion. And, of course, Joey Elias, host of the comedy show right here on CJAD. And me, the token female. So we'll bring up a bunch of issues, and whatever you guys want to talk about is fine with me, and we'll try to keep it clean. Sometimes it goes a little crazy in this room.
No Mount Royal stories tonight.
No Mount Royal stories, no ejaculation stories, none of those things off the table. Joey, sorry you had to miss that last time, but we're not going to even fill you in.
All right.
We're not even going to bother to fill you. And no toilet seat talk anymore.
No.
We're done with that,
What's
okay?
toilet seat talk?
No. We're not
Up
gonna
or
go
down. We go through this almost every time, and I don't know why it's such a male issue, but anyway, we're not going to do that. 514-790-0800 if you would like to join the Boys Club and talk about stuff, we'll do that. So there's a few issues I want to actually to bring up. There's stuff about kissing. Kissing is the key to happiness. I don't know how you guys feel about the whole kissing thing. But if you have a happy relationship, you actually, according to this study, don't really need much intercourse. You need, as long as there's kissing.
They take the survey at an Amish community.
For women, maybe.
For women, maybe?
For women, maybe, because they can get the oxytocin released in the brain by a variety of things.
And what, you telling me guys can't?
No.
I didn't even know I have that.
There you go. He can tell you a thing or two you have coursing through your veins.
The study by Dr. Steve Stosny. Men get oxytocin released in the brain in one of two ways. Long body-to-body embraces and the act of intercourse.
No kissing?
Kissing doesn't release the same amounts that allow a guy to feel balanced. Whereas a woman, have a stimulating conversation, she gets the oxytocin released in the brain.
That would explain a lot of man love in prison, though. You know what I mean? Like two prisoners, you're in the cell, and then they start hugging, and this oxycodone takes over. And the
oxycodone's not a drug.
The next thing you know.
Wasn't there a policy in prisons at one time that allowed them to bring in prostitutes so that it would try to reduce the violence in the prison?
I have no idea.
Because of oxytocin,
it's
the bonding hormone. It's the love hormone. It's the stuff that makes you feel all cuddly and cutesy and, attached. The attachment hormone, oxytocin. So you're saying that kissing then is way more important to women than it is to men.
You also have to add the statistic in there that how many women never experience an orgasm? So if they're not getting an orgasm from the act of intercourse, kissing is just as well, and it's a lot less messy, and it takes a lot less time.
I don't know who you've been kissing, but there's some messy kissers out there. There have been a few that I thought, I'm going to lose my eyes right out of my socket. These things are going to come out.
If somebody's a bad kisser, I'm curious to see, how you guys respond to that. But I haven't dated in many, many years, but some of you are dating. What happens with the kiss for you? Is that the determining thing? Like if the person, you're not meshing, that kiss isn't meshing, that it's over at that point? Or how do you feel about that?
Because you're mixing your pheromones together. That's
please, give me a break.
You're
mixing your pheromones. This is what you think it's all about?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
I love to kiss personally. Kissing is the ultimate foreplay, and I like it wet and wild.
You sound like a commercial, but okay. Joey's shaking his head.
I don't know what Wet and Wild is. That was a toy when I was a kid.
But that slidey thing.
That's
right.
Banana,
it was.
Right?
Yeah.
Banana.
Yeah. Kissing is an important thing because that's part of the connection you're going to have with your partner. I will say this for me. I know that I went out on a date with a female many, many years ago, and went to a movie. She had the worst laugh ever, and I never called her back.
Was she a good kisser though?
I never even
He
got
never even
that
got
far.
there. Well, for
I was so
someone like
turned
you,
off by this laugh. It was so horrendous.
and I get that because Joey's a funny guy. If you're going to be hanging around with you, you'll make remarks all the time. You can't help yourself. So, hopefully the person who's with you is going to laugh. And if that laugh is annoying, it's going to drive the crap out of you.
As a stand-up comedian, you respond more to auditory stimuli. So the sound of someone's laughter is going to be more important to you than, let's say, someone that is maybe a more visual person. Because what do you do in stand-up comedy? You're telling jokes. You're listening for the laughter of the audience. It's very sound-based. You're a very auditory personality. That's what you respond to because that's what you're drawn to. So when someone has a bad laugh or a laugh that, you can have a physical reaction to a laugh that really just gets under your skin.
It's amazing what gets under our skin. Sometimes it's like I'll hear a voice that gets under my skin or...
Yeah. But have you ever had like a client come in, you're like, I can't listen to you because it's just piercing my ears. That's what this laugh was. And you know what? This is the worst part, is I had liked this girl for a while.
Really?
She worked at a restaurant just down the street from the comedy club. And I would see her all the time, and it was just in past. And then I finally asked her out, and she said yes. And then it was just like, I was devastated.
Yeah,
wow. And were you able to tell her? You didn't tell her why.
No.
Right. And she never asked you. She never tried to.
No.
She knows now if she listens. She knows who she is. Oh, boy.
I've got a question for the boys club.
Okay.
What are your biggest turnoffs?
Biggest
In a
turnoffs?
partner.
Well, lack of hygiene for me.
Penis.
Really?
I dated a girl
no
who had
kidding.
that one.
The biggest turnoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, hygiene's a big thing.
I agree. Foul smells, not something I enjoy.
Yeah, women say the same thing, by the way, in terms of turn on, turn. But I think it's more important for women. That part, maybe not. I could be wrong. Clearly, all three of you are saying hygiene is at the top of your list. But I'm just trying to think of what's bad hygiene on a woman that you've seen. What bad teeth, bad breath,
not
bad
showering
what?
Yeah, that's a big
Greasy
one.
hair.
Yeah.
The not showering and they're open about it. I haven't showered in 3 days.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You have actually.
I mean, I've done
Heard
that,
that?
but I've been in a war country. I had
That's
no water.
That's a little different.
No, in all honesty, I there was somebody I knew that, just wouldn't shower every day. And maybe I know I have OCD. I do know that, and maybe because I
In
shower
terms
at
of
least
that,
twice, minimum twice a day, sometimes 3. So maybe that's a thing as well.
That's a thing for you.
Another turnoff for me would be a lack of confidence and also immaturity in a partner.
Maturity or
Immaturity.
immaturity?
Yeah, lack of maturity.
And
yeah.
what and how would that play itself out in your mind?
I guess.
How old are
creating
you,
drama.
Ryan? How old are you?
I'm in my mid-20s.
Mid-20s, so you're dating women probably a little younger than you,
Exactly.
early 20s, and you're asking for what kind of maturity are you
I
looking
prefer
for?
late 20s. I prefer to date late 20s.
So you prefer to date older women?
Yeah, a few years older.
Do you consider yourself to be more mature than your average mid-20-year-old
I
guy?
guess so. I don't know.
You think so?
A little bit.
Listen,
Let's ask the girls he's dated.
Listen, there are women out there that are mature at 18, and there's
That's
others
true.
that are 35, 36 that have the brain of a 2-year-old.
It's very
You
funny.
want names?
No, but I'm hearing a lot of the same stuff I hear from the women, from you guys, which is interesting. I always thought there might have been a difference, but we seem to be turned on or off by the same kinds of things.
Well, let's also remember there's a difference between what a guy will have sex with and what a guy is looking for in a long-term relationship. So when it comes to long-term relationships, I think most people are looking for the same things, someone that they can actually build a future with. But if you take that element out and it's just for a one-night stand, people's standards tend to go down.
We can talk about standards.
Well,
coming
standards go down also depending on
how much you've had to drink.
Well, yeah, and how late it is too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And when
Like,
the last time was.
Last call.
and-
Like, get
right.
what
I
you
mean,
can
if
here.
if you're horny and you're looking for it, 3:15, the lights are on, your standards are gone. And here's the funny thing too, and I've told my buddies this. You know, they'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm going to go talk to that one." I'm like, "You don't look that good yourself at this hour."
Right.
You know, if I was a woman, I wouldn't be, "Oh, look who's coming my way, the big, smelly, sweaty alcoholic." You know?
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Exactly.
We'll take a break and come back with the Boys Club here on Passion on CJAD.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world.
It's a man's world tonight, that's for sure. The Boys Club, and joining us tonight, Joey Elias, Frank Kermit, and Ryan Ryder, talking about all kinds of different issues. And actually, Joey was just telling us such a nice story for Remembrance Day. Can you share it with our listeners? Because I just want to at least commemorate this day.
Yeah, I was walking. I had told Andrew Carter that I was going to join those guys at McGill this morning, and I was walking over. I was at the corner of Sherbrooke and Guy, and there was a younger gentleman in full, right, this is a military outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting across the street, and he just came up to me and said that he had seen my show when I was down in Afghanistan. We started chit-chatting. His name's Sam, and we ended up, I missed the ceremony because Sam and I ended up going to the coffee shop down the street, and we ended up just sitting around.
I'm sure you made his day. I'm sure it was so thrilling for him to hang out with you.
And what he's done for, everybody in this country.
Mm-hmm.
That it was an honor for me to sit with him. That's what it was really. It really was a good cup of coffee.
Yeah. So we remember, we do,
Yeah.
and I think it's important that it's not just old vets, but the new ones.
That's right.
We're still there's a lot of our guys went to Afghanistan several times. In fact, I see them too in my practice. So. Thanks for sharing that. That's a lovely story, actually. That's a very touching story. Okay, first date advice. This is right up your alley, Frank, in terms of dating advice. Apparently, this is according to a study. Interrupting her during a first date can help you land a second date. They analyzed more than 1,000 speed date conversations and follow-up surveys. And what they found was that interrupting her was a good plan, but it only worked in a guy's favor if he was agreeing with her, with the date, if he was encouraging her or finishing her sentences or her thoughts. Not if he was interrupting her to say, yeah, but me, yeah, but I, that kind of thing.
I agree. Why are you sharing my tricks of the trade with the listenership?
That's a good tactic for building rapport.
Is okay.
It could also be someone who says, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Which, if all you say is me too, but there are some people out there who are very, very seductive. And they can say, yeah, I feel exactly the same way because, and then you just deepen the rapport. So that could lead to a second date.
So just don't say, yeah, me too, and use that as your
Well, it shows that you're truly
go-to.
listening. You listen to what they're saying, and then you ask them to expand on what they're talking about and show interest, and that builds rapport between the two of you.
Could any of you see yourself in a open relationship, like be swingers, or like how do you feel? I guess it's the question about monogamy versus non-monogamy, and which would you prefer? And do you think you could actually get what you want?
Well, if I interrupt.
Yeah, coitus interruptus not. Okay. One for me. No, seriously, think about it. If it was up to you, and be honest, if it was completely your choice, would you want to be in an open relationship, meaning a relationship where you were, where it was okay to go out and have sex with other people? So not basically non-monogamous, but you're not cheating because your partner is doing the same thing.
Okay, I see nobody else is answering, so I'm going to say yes.
That would be your ultimate choice?
Yeah.
You think most guys would answer that way?
I think most guys would answer that way because they don't take into consideration just how much how much of a challenge it is to manage an open relationship. I've had both. I've done the swinger.
So
thing.
you've been in an open relationship.
I've had, you named a relationship structure at some point in my life through this process of becoming a coach now. There isn't very much I haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't very much I haven't experimented with. And with each new experience, it was a matter of what I could handle and then coming up with new rules to say, okay, that can't happen again in this context. And then you try to figure out what works for you and your partner. There is no one relationship structure that works for everybody. You have to figure out what rules you can handle. Look, there are some people that really don't feel any sort of negative reaction when they know their partner is with somebody else. Some people get turned on by that. It intensifies their own sexual experience with that
the
person.
swingers that I know, certainly that I've spoken to, that's exactly how they feel. They go to resorts where people are having sex all over the place, and they love watching each other, with other people, and it's a free for all.
It depends if you have a soft swap
See,
or a hard swap, though.
Well, don't
Excuse me? A what?
a soft swap or a hard swap is what I said.
Okay.
Look, it's not a free-for-all for everybody, though. And when I was involved in it, only maybe 10% of the people that I met and engaged with had a no-rules free-for-all. The majority, the 90%, really had an incredible list of rules of do's and don'ts and what they can do and what they can't do and with who. Actually, what was the percentage? 50% never went beyond oral sex.
Right. What are the chances?
Well,
though?
according to the president once, that's not even a
That's
sexual
not
act.
There you
sex.
go.
There you go.
Right? I mean,
Right.
that's just, I'm not going to interrupt that conversation.
Yeah.
It doesn't even count. He didn't even have sexual
How
relations.
likely do you think that you would meet somebody who would even want that? How would you even propose that to them? Hey, how do you feel about...
Tell people exactly what you expect on that
I think
first
that's
date.
a sign of a solid relationship, though. That
What?
if you can bring that up, or your partner can bring that up to you. That
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
all of a
with-
sudden
yes.
there's a communication aspect to that.
Right.
Like for me, I'm a horrible example of, being in a relationship. I'll be honest.
Can we hold that thought for a minute when we take a break?
Yeah, let's go take traffic.
And then, not traffic exactly, but
there's something happening at Christophe Colomb.
we'll take a short break and come back with the boys here on the Boys Club on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight on the program. If there are things you want to talk about, please, you can call in and join us. 514-790-0800. You can text us at 514-800. We have Joey, Frank, and Ryan in studio. Somebody wrote this in Kiss. It is an elixir of a bliss, but it does not taste with every lips. We were talking about kissing. Some guy's very poetic here, no?
Yeah, that was way too deep for me to
Wait,
figure
right.
out.
What's
need,
he talking about?
I got to decipher that with the Da Vinci Code.
Right. So we've been talking about open relationships, swinging. Could you be a swinger? Could you handle watching your partner enjoying sex with another guy? Do you think that you could do that? Picture yourself in a long-term relationship and picture that happening. Would you feel jealousy? Would you feel insecure? Would you feel inadequate? Would you feel they're comparing you? As a guy, how would you feel?
It has nothing to do, in my experience, with who the other guy is. It has to do with the nature of the connection I have with the girl. There have been some girls that it bothered me when they went and dated some other guy, and there have been some girls that I was completely secure with the whole situation. But that's because of the way her and I relate, not for the way that what he has I might not have.
I don't know. I find it difficult to picture the whole thing. I have to say I'm very monogamous. Believe in monogamy. I'm okay with it. It sits very well with me. The thought of it sounds too complicated to me to have it any other way, frankly.
It is complicated. It's not an easy thing to manage. It is complicated. Worst swinger experience, girlfriend was allowed to experiment with other women, and she found a woman she wanted to be with. She went, and she ended up having a threesome with the woman and the woman's husband, and only told me about it afterwards.
And then they
Before
wrote
you-
that into Friends as Ross.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
But that has nothing to do with swinging. That's just not having trust in your partner.
Well, I don't know. I think it's
I
got a
think that
lot
if
to
you're
do with a
going
lot.
to-
Oh God, we got the news. Ooh, my God, we're getting off on topic here. It's a good thing. Let's go right to the news.
Saved by the bell.
On Passion on CJAD.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight on the program. Joey Elias, Ryan Ryder, and Frank Kermit join us to talk about all guy stuff. Well, different things. Guys' perspective on things. We're talking about swinging. We have some text messages. One from Ian, who says, though I've never engaged in any swinging, I would venture to think that a lot more people fantasize about it. To put it into action is another thing. I wouldn't do it. Another text says, myself and my lady often think about it with a tranny. For some reason, it feels safer, but we have yet to do it, but it's a big part of our fantasies. Another one, when I was single, I did do the two women thing. It was fun, but that was my limit. Sorry, Joey. I don't know
What,
why.
that I wasn't one of the women?
That's right. Didn't invite you?
Yeah.
I
I don't know, something like that. So that's for the swinging and could you handle it? Okay, I have another question here because this is something I hear about a lot too. What if your girlfriend or your wife or what have you wanted access to all of your activities, like wanted access to your Facebook account, wanted access to your emails, wanted access to your phone to check your text messages? How much is how much transparency is necessary? And how would you feel if that's what she was asking of you?
I have nothing to hide.
So that you wouldn't see it as
No.
anything.
Hey, I mean, you want to see it? Look at it. Go for it. Here's my text. I mean, you know what? I'd rather have somebody read my emails right now than me. You know?
Here, go ahead. Do
No,
them for me. Oh, yeah, I'm
seriously.
sure, because you get hundreds and hundreds to weed through yourself.
You know? I mean, and also some of them aren't the friendliest, you know? I don't know if you
Really?
get those. Oh, yeah. I get
I don't get too many. I get some.
lot of hate mail.
I do get a lot
some.
of hate mail, and I'd appreciate if they knew how to spell properly.
That would be
that's
nice, too.
That's all I ask for. Just auto-correct your hate.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, okay, so you believe in transparency. For you, it's like I have nothing to hide, so who cares? You
Right.
want to look at my phone? Look at my phone, you know? I tend to agree in terms of transparency. I'm a big believer in transparency, but I think if the partner you're with was so paranoid, though, without any reason, that's where the problem is if you haven't given them any reason to doubt you in any way, but they're so afraid, I think I'd have a hard time with that person's insecurity more than anything.
I'm an open book. I'll give it to them. I'll let them see what they want, and I've got nothing to hide. But like you said, if they're so paranoid that they're constantly checking grabbing your phone, wanting to see your text messages, always reading your emails, your Facebook, that's quite worrisome.
So that would be annoying to you.
Yeah,
You
a
would
red
not
flag
like
in
that.
my book.
At the level of wife, I believe she needs to have full access the way you need to have full access to all of her accounts. At the level of fiance is when you would start, but if it's a casual girlfriend, even if you've been dating a while but there's no future planning, then no.
Okay. That topic we'll put to rest. Why are guys hornier than women?
Than men.
Why are guys hornier than women? Do men crave sex more than women, or do the ladies have better self-control? So this is researchers from the University of Texas say the answer is simple. Guys are just hornier. Compared to women, men had a much harder time rejecting photographs of attractive members of the opposite sex, even when they were instructed to do so, the research shows. Follow-up tests found guys have just as much self-control as women, but their impulse to accept sexy partners is nearly 4 times stronger, which is very interesting. So they say society's acceptance of men's dalliances, but not women's, may also have shaped the strength of a guy's sexual impulse. As a result, dozens of studies have confirmed that men fool around more than women.
I'll give you one name of one person, of a female, and which I can't do, obviously, because of legal issues. But I would give you a name, and anybody who knew this woman, and I use that term very loosely, would disagree with that study, because this girl that I know, you know, I'm not going to say that I want. How can I put this mildly?
Not so mild.
Here,
Just
okay.
go for it.
I once posted this, and this goes for her. I said that if her vagina had a password, it would be password.
Well, she must be a nymphomaniac, which is not referred to as hypersexuality.
But that isn't your typical.
She's not suffering from low T.
Right. No, definitely not low T. But she falls into, let's say, you know, a quarter of the way. 3/4 of women fall into the lower, you know, not the highest desire, not low desire, but just not the same level. And 3/4 of guys probably fall into this, you know, hornier category.
Well, it all comes
basically.
down to Darwinism, survival of the fittest, and men want to spread their seed, and they're very aggressive.
Well, you know, I think you're right about the evolutionary part of it. I think women evolved to be more selective about who they slept with, so they have more self-control, whereas the men tend to not have. And this is what this was about, that it's more about the control of impulses, and that they found that your willpower tends to lag when you're tired. And you were talking about that earlier, like at 3:15 in the morning, you've got no willpower at that point. You're just, oh, okay, whatever. Looks all right to me. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
let's not forget, women are on the receiving end of so much sexual attention. They don't have to work for sex. So they're in a position where they have to be selective because they're constantly getting offer after offer. Guys have to work for it. Very few
you
guys.
do not know how tough it is.
Yeah.
Every day I'm shooing people away. Get away, you
Right.
crazy.
Look at the
You
prostitution.
must get it
Come on.
though. You being on stage,
He's
you
got the
have
groupies.
you have your groupies. You have. I know
comedy
personally.
rats.
I know like some of my regular guests here are like, "Where's Joey? Is Joey gonna be here? Is Joey gonna be? I want to see Joey. Can I see Joey?" So I know you have your set of groupies that you know.
You know what? If I do, I can be very honest. I'm not even aware of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm oblivious after a show. Because, and I'll be very honest, if people do come up and they are flirtatious or what, I really am not aware of it. And I'll tell you why. For the first 20 to 30 minutes after a show, I'm out of it because I'm in my head, I'm replaying my show. I'm preoccupied. So I'm very bad at that.
Lori, is there a relation
Interesting. That's
between
very interesting.
testosterone and aggressiveness, and I guess estrogen?
Sure.
And
Well,
being passive?
testosterone, high testosterone would, yes, increase aggressivity, and estrogen, more emotional stuff.
Well, there you go.
happens with that.
Men have more testosterone, women have more estrogen, so that explains it.
Yes,
as well.
but it doesn't.
Well, we hope so. Otherwise, you're Chaz.
I find it interesting that Joey's like oblivious to these
Well, don't forget,
fawning females.
women are not direct about their interest. She's not going to come up and say, I want to be with you tonight. She's going to say, I would love to spend some time with you, and you're so great and you're so wonderful. But she's still going to want him to make that first move.
Right.
But
so
I also
if-
don't, you know, back in the day, I would spend more time in the bar after the show.
Okay.
Now I'm very content. Show's over, I go home.
Right.
You know?
You're like a homebody now.
Yeah.
Like hermit, Joey the hermit now.
Totally.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta get out there. You have anyway.
He's been there, done that. He
Well,
needs some
well-
excitement. He needs to become non-monogamous now.
Yeah, maybe.
We need to get him. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
It's all good.
Later. It's all good as long as you're happy. Hold the fort. Women are just as horny as men. They hide it better, according to one texter.
So come and prove it. Enough with the game.
Someone else says, I always respect the lady's privacy. In return, I expect the same from her. I never go near her purse or her cell phone. In return, don't touch my cell phone and don't touch my wallet. Okay. You're listening to The Boys Club here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
We pretty women stand in line. We love you, baby. In an hour's time. I'm a man.
The Boys Club tonight on Passion. We have Ryan Ryder, Joey Elias, and Frank Kermit. And a texter who says, no. Men want to have sex, but women want to make love.
I'd rather make love than have sex.
And you know, and what's the difference? Mr. Ryan? What's the difference?
I think making love
The
is
cost.
more romantic.
The cost. Okay, go. Tell me more.
I don't know. I just figured that was
It
funny.
means that after sex, you still want her to stick around.
It means you care about the person, I guess.
The making love part
Yeah. It's more
versus
passionate,
the sex
more,
part.
more sensual.
Okay. All right. Talking about casual sex. Here's an interesting study. A new online survey measures just how much actual living goes on in cars, whether it's eating, applying makeup, flirting, or having sex. The survey finds that 11% of the U.S. adults that participated in the survey admit to having participated in a sexual activity while driving.
Yeah.
Men were 3 times more likely
Roadhead.
to admit to it or boast or whatever. That was 17% of the men compared to 5% of the women. And believe it or not, it was the older age group that engaged in more sex while driving. 35 to 44-year-olds
Getting
were
kinky.
more likely to
You want to spice things up.
Yeah.
Things are getting novelty. And,
spice things up in the car while somebody's driving. That's
All right.
spicing things up.
First of all, this is Montreal, so the chances are the car's not moving.
Yeah, that's
Right? You're
true,
stuck
too.
in traffic. You're in a
I'm
sinkhole.
going to look over next time I'm on the DeCarry.
I've seen it. Walking by parked cars and they'll see the windows fogged up. Or
Okay,
you
that's
see
parked cars. That's not while driving. I only heard the one story, and I don't know if it's an urban legend or not, but a woman was performing oral sex, and they got into an accident, and she basically bit it off.
Ouch. Oh, my God.
Yeah, the reflex.
Oh,
I don't know if that was...
that's going to
So
stay in
just
my
a
head
thought.
for a little
I
while.
want it to stay in your head because you shouldn't be doing that while driving.
Yeah, you
What are you
should.
supposed to be doing? Listen
No.
to radio?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Listen to Passion and the
that's right.
comedy show.
Get the
Don't be
mood
having
set.
sex.
if you don't want to give, if you don't want to perform oral sex, a hand job would you just?
Oh, no, yeah, okay. And you're supposed to concentrate on driving at that moment. Anyway, thankfully, it's only 17. Still, 17% seems like a high number to me
Of course.
of people who've engaged in sex
Are,
while
are
driving.
we all within that number,
No, I plead the fifth.
Joey?
I was much
Some
younger.
things we don't share.
I was much younger, and the cars were much bigger.
Yeah, that's true.
There's
aren't
not
they?
a lot of lovemaking in a Prius
No, there's not.
or a Mini.
Certainly not the Mini.
Park Avenue Buick. Awesome.
I'm not a car
maybe
guy. I don't know.
car.
Is that a big car?
Big car. Big blue boat.
That was the car you remember? Well,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had those big, huge back seats back then, where
Mm-hmm.
it was like a bed, right? You could. I remember we were a family of 6, like going on car rides, and we were all lying down. Like you could fit a family of 12 in those cars at the time.
You can make a family of 12 in those cars.
Yeah, okay, that too.
I do enjoy a little touchy-feely while going for a ride.
By yourself?
No, with,
Oh,
with a friend
That's
of
a good
the
one,
of the other
Joey.
sex.
you didn't say. You just want to,
That's right. Touchy
Not-
feely.
Never by myself.
By the way,
Never by
it's
myself,
quite
thank you.
illegal, touchy feely while you're driving. You're like
with somebody else, not with me.
But
not
just
just
there's
there a
like
law
indecent
against this?
exposure. Well, if any sexual activity that takes place in public, yes, there's a law against
What are you gonna
that.
say? Cover up, and then you say okay.
There is a
that's
law
it.
against that. I knew somebody who that was his fetish. Would
Okay, so he did it to
masturbate
the
in the
extreme. He would try to
car.
get caught.
I only got stopped by
Wait.
the cops once. We were in a parking lot. The cops came in, and I'm pleading with them, please, take me in, leave her alone. She has a reputation. I'll be the scum in this. They
but
let
it
us-
is illegal. It's not. You can't be doing that kind of stuff in. Listen to me, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're not promoting anything here. We're just saying that we do it, and you can do whatever you want.
Right. Does online dating make it harder to find the one? Looking at the benefits versus the downfall, I guess. So there was a new study, an extensive study published in the Journal of Psychological Science in the Public Interest, and they sought to answer critical questions about online dating, which, of course, as we all know, it's a very popular trend that accounts for 1 out of every 5 new relationships formed. So 1 out of every 5 new relationships has formed online. But how much does it differ from traditional face-to-face encounters, and does it lead to more successful romantic relationships? We'll try to answer that question coming up next here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Tonight on the program, the Boys Club, Frank Kermit, Ryan Ryder, and Joey Elias joining us. So we're talking just the online dating. What did this study find? That internet dating is a good thing, especially for singles who don't otherwise have many opportunities to meet people. Or maybe they meet them, but they're oblivious, like Joey is. So clearly it's very, very popular. It's a very popular way to meet somebody. It's the second most common way that couples get together after meeting through friends. So clearly it works for a lot of people, and yet it still gets a really bad rap. Like, Dan Delmar was just talking earlier saying he would never do it. And just wondering how some of you guys feel about the whole online dating thing. In my opinion, it's if I was to walk into a bar and scout the room, in that entire bar of, let's say, 300 people, there might just be one or two people that I would be interested in maybe talking to, right? So what I'm doing online is I'm going through 300 profiles and picking out the one or two that I might be interested in furthering a conversation with. So to me, it would seem that it's a very convenient form.
Yeah, and you have to go in without expectations, because it really depends what you're looking for, and it could be good, it could be not, and you have to just delve in there and see if it works out for you or not.
Well, but is it something you're not nervous about? You're okay with it?
I'm
Are
not
you
nervous,
online? Are you doing it?
I grew up in the computer generation. I'm the youngest member of the panel, so definitely
For you, it's a no-brainer. Everybody does it.
I grew up with social networking and online dating, and pretty much.
Well, hold on, you're on Tinder and all that,
yeah.
right?
So I'm pretty big with the online
and
social
Joey's
networking
like, what's
and
Tinder?
promotions.
I know what Tinder is.
Online dating, and I've had mixed results, but I've had some good experiences and some bad ones as well.
Maybe you need to go on Tinder.
No, I'm old school. You know why I don't do the online dating?
Why?
Because you actually have to talk to somebody when you walk into a bar or see somebody at a coffee shop.
That's true.
Yeah, but
and that is part of the ability to be attracted to somebody, is the ability to communicate with them.
But many times a bar is really loud and packed. When you're having
but you get out of there.
A chat message, you could actually talk.
But coffee shop, but I think Joey makes a point that you brought up, Frank, is that like for Joey, it's the ear, it's auditory. He needs to have that conversation to connect with somebody. It's not going to happen through the written word. You actually need to converse and to hear the voice.
Right. I like having face-to-face conversations.
I'm like that too. I actually, it's nice to be able to do that. Is it always possible? Maybe not.
Look, one of the great things about online dating is that anybody who goes online looking for somebody, they're putting it out there. They want to meet someone. You go to a bar, some people are just there to drink. Some people are there to hang out with friends.
Yeah, you don't know whether.
Some people are involved already and they're not looking for someone. So you have to...
I will say this.
That's a good point.
I have never found somebody that I ended up dating when I was looking to date somebody.
Online, you mean? Oh, just in general.
Yeah, it's when you don't care
so
anymore.
when you were looking, you never
found.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you work too hard at it. Interesting.
Well, to me, online dating is an endless catalog.
But I also work a
potential
lot,
partners.
and I don't know what happens after show.
Well, you also work very late. You're working when everybody else is doing the dating thing, which is also very interesting. Yeah. But anyhow, that's a topic for another show. Guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. Very much appreciated. Joey, thank you. And stay tuned, of course, for Joey. He's hanging around, doing his stuff after this, Frank. And we'll catch up with you on Dating Dilemmas in a couple weeks. And Ryan, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks to Brad Smith, the other guy, the silent guy in the club.
Listen to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD and CJAD.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit